pretty cool, isn't it?
Welcome to the super fun, awesome, happy, and unpaid show.
Hey, welcome.
I'm Gabor.
I'm Alex.
And today we have the oil can delay shootout as requested by Josh Stein.
I believe so.
Joshua Stein.
Yeah.
On YouTube. He asked us on our Adineko video. He said, "How would we compare the Adineko and the Black Fountain to delays that are meant to sound like oil can delays?"
Yeah.
And so here we are. Oh, I flicked to that accidentally. Jeez. Okay, modern technology. Edit. Okay, so the Black Fountain by All Blood Noise Endeavours and the Adineko by Catalinbread. Now, both delays meant to sound like oil can delays. Now, we've done demos on both of them already quite a while ago, I think, especially on the Black Fountain. But basically, back in the old days, you used to have oil can delays, which is basically a delay that was an oil drum that rotated, and somehow through witchcraft and pixie magic,
yes,
sound went into it and then did something in there and came out the other end delayed.
Magic!
We're scientists too.
Yeah.
Now,
if you didn't realise already.
Now, neither of us have ever used an actual oil can delay.
Yeah.
So neither of us really know if one sounds more like an oil can delay than the other. But they are, in my opinion, two really, really good sounding delays.
Yeah. Even if they don't, doesn't matter, they're cool.
Yeah, exactly right. They're two quite different flavours of delays too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, again, which one sounds more like it? I don't know. But so basically, we've got the All Blood Noise Endeavours Black Fountain. Actually, we'll switch over to you.
Oh, you've got a cool t-shirt on, by the way.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
The Guitar Wank podcast.
Check it out.
Make sure to check it out. Troy, Bruce, and Scott, the amazing Scott Henderson.
The other guys are pretty amazing.
Yeah, the other guys are pretty good. No, I've always liked Scott Henderson. But great podcast if you want to listen to some musos that have done a lot and seen a lot, and really funny, really good podcast. Great podcast to listen to. I listen to going to and from gigs all the time. So check it out.
Thanks,
the Guitar Wank podcast.
Yeah, it's very cool. So, should we go to some dry signal?
Dry signal. So, Strat.
Yeah. It's a
Fender Hot Rod Deluxe.
Hot Rod Deluxe, like you just said.
Yes.
And yeah. So let's hear the Black Fountain.
The Black Fountain. Okay, so basically, you've got 4 knobs. You've got delay time. You've got feedback. You've got mix, and you've got fluid. Cool. Delay time is delay time. Feedback is feedback. Mix goes from 100% dry to 100% wet and everything in between. Mm-hmm. Fluid is modulation, basically, so you can add sort of a vibrato kind of sound to it. And you have a little dip switch with 3 settings. You've got modern, you've got organ, and you've got vintage. Mm-hmm. Now, modern and vintage are basically the same. Vintage is darker, grittier, kind of repeats.
Yeah, bit of grind in there going on.
And organ is pretty much just a slapback kind of delay. Let's start with organ. Let's start with that. So if we turn the feedback down to just 1 repeat, it's pretty much just, even at full level delay time, it's pretty much slapback, but we'll go on that now.
Yeah, cool.
So even if you go time all the way up,
yep,
it's still pretty much slapback.
Oh, that's not making anyone friends, is it? Yeah, cool.
One thing I actually really like is if you turn the time down a bit, so you make it really fast.
Yep, so it's...
And then you turn the feedback up. Oh, maybe... No, that's actually, sorry, that's on the other settings, not the organ settings.
Okay.
Let's do it on the other setting. Let's go to modern. So have the repeat really slow, quick, I mean.
Yep.
But then have lots of feedback.
Ah.
sort of in between spring reverb and delay. I don't know, just one I kind of like. So basically, you've got in modern setting, it just sounds to me like a really good analog delay. Whether that's what an old can delay is meant to sound like or not, I don't know. But so this is sort of just a kind of nice medium sort of setting. Just a nice analog delay with a bit of modulation. It sounds really, really nice to me.
That's great.
And then we've got vintage. If we just leave it all in exactly the same settings. A bit more in your face to repeats. The repeats are a bit louder, but a bit kind of grittier and darker.
Yeah, more attitude.
A lot more attitude.
For lack of better actual words.
Yeah, no, that's actually probably not a bad word. Yeah. So that's a Black Fountain. I think it's a great sounding pedal. The other thing actually that I don't know if you've sort of noticed it before, but if you just strum something now.
Yeah.
See how the overall volume goes up?
Oh, sure, yeah.
It kind of boosts the entire volume of everything, and I've actually got that on my board at the moment, and I kind of use it as a lead boost.
Cool.
It's always nice to have a bit of delay when you're playing lead anyway, and it boosts the volume just a little bit up, that you don't even need a booster or anything like that. So I think it's a brilliant sounding delay. If you want a really nice delay that doesn't get in the way, I find a lot of times with delay pedals I have issues where it's either the delays aren't present at all, or they're taken over. It's hard to kind of find that middle ground, and with that, it's very easy to find the middle ground, I find.
Cool.
Very musical, very nice delay.
Absolutely.
Okay, Adineko.
Okay.
5 knobs. We've got reverb, viscosity, timing, blend, and balance. Cool. Now, let's start off. Let's turn reverb and viscosity all the way down. So blend, basically, it's, again, 100% wet to 100% dry, whichever one you want to go for. Mm-hmm. Now, balance balance is basically, if you think of, for example, a tape delay.
Yep.
Tape delays quite often used to have multiple heads. So you've got the first head is closer for shorter delays, the second head is further away for longer delays. Now, apparently, they did that in oil can delays too. How that works inside and it swims around further away. I don't know, but
swims away.
So basically, you have a shorter and a longer delay time because you have 2 different heads, tape oil heads. I don't know. So if you go all the way counterclockwise,
two things.
So you've got a shorter delay.
That's shorter.
So if the timing all the way up, so that's the longest, shortest delay you can have. If that makes sense. The longest, shortest delay.
Gotcha.
So timing is basically a delay time within that. So you've got your delay heads, and you can kind of move your delay heads closer or further away. Sure. Now if you go completely clockwise, you've got the other delay head, which is the longer delay head. So it's further away.
Yes.
Yeah. And then if you go at 12 o'clock, it's an equal amount of both.
So it should be 2 repeats, 1 short, 1 long.
Yes. Well, there's 3 because the first one repeats. Because you've got the first one going into the second one.
Which is repeated.
Was just repeated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mind blown.
So you've got 3 repeats instead of 2 repeats. So that's the balance. So basically, it's something that you couldn't do with oil can delays because I think it was push buttons there. Sure. So you had a shorter delay, a longer delay.
One or the other.
With this, you can actually blend it. And if you go in between, not just at 12 o'clock, but in between all the way on and in the middle, you can emphasize the first tape head or the second tape head, so you can have some more rhythmic sounding delays. So the shorter delay will be more emphasized, the longer delay will be less emphasized, and so on. Now, reverb. Reverb is basically your feedback. So if you have it all the way down, you just have one repeat. Or let's just go to the longer delay heads just one repeat.
One off.
If you turn the reverb up a bit. So what it did, what it's meant to emulate is with oil can delays, the sound went into the oil can thing, the witchcraft happened, it came out, and it was fed back into it.
Oh no, not the witch again. Oh, fire.
Just when you thought it was done, go back in. So basically, yeah, so it goes around, and that's sort of how that degradation of sound happens as well.
Okay.
Because it sort of goes around.
It's like swimming in pixie magic.
Pixie magic oil.
Love.
And it's got that beautiful, once you turn it up to once you go a bit past 12 o'clock, sort of around 1 o'clock or so, it's got that really nice kind of droney thing that's happening, which again, it's not taken over. It's just it's a bit more in the background, but it sounds great if you, it's around there somewhere now.
Yeah.
Well, that. So it's got that really nice kind of droney thing that happens there, which it's a little bit different to the Black Fountain. And again, that's sort of where the differences are. You know, it's the Adineko to me is more of an ambient kind of thing.
Yep. Cool.
And it sounds to me, it doesn't sound like your typical delay.
No.
It has different sort of things to it. Whereas the Black Fountain to me sounds more like an actual delay, really good sounding delay, but just a standard analog delay. Now lastly, you've got viscosity. Now viscosity is the modulation, and the term viscosity comes from viscosity meaning the thickness of liquid.
Yep.
And apparently, as the tales go, with oil, if you, for example, if it's winter as opposed to summer, not here in Australia so much, but in cold places, in winter the oil will be thicker, so the modulation will be more dominant, it'll be more stronger, more modulation. Whereas in summer and hot days, the oil is more fluid and the modulation will be less present. Now, the other thing also is if you, for example, first thing in the morning, turn the oil drum on and it starts rotating, the oil will have set and will be a bit thicker, and as the day goes on, it'll warm up and get thinner. So depending on how much modulation you want, you were either using it, cold, or you were warming it up and using it, later on. So what this does, it sort of emulates it. It goes from no modulation, all the way to really quite extreme modulation, which we shall hear now. So that's. So there's quite a lot of modulation there.
Yeah.
And the other thing you can do, which is kind of cool, which you can't do with the Black Fountain, if you turn the balance all the way down, and the timing all the way down, and the blend all the way up, and the reverb all the way down, you now have a...
Vibrato! It's super weird because there's actually a slight delay, so there's a latency.
Tiny delay, because it's set to the shortest delay time,
Yeah.
which is, fractional delay time, and you don't have any dry signal. So you have that tiny little bit of delay.
Yeah, it's like... Fun.
So that's the Adineko. So two quite different sounding delays that are meant to kind of do the same thing, but each in their own right, in my opinion, are really, really good.
Yeah.
So the Black Fountain, to me, great analog delay sound. If if that's what you're after, it's a really, really nice musical, great delay. It's one of my absolute favorite delays.
Super cool.
And the Adineko, also great, really, really good sounding delay, but just different. It's not so much a delay, it's more of that sort of ambience kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's sort of somewhere in between a reverb, delay, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so on. So hopefully that kind of helped out a little bit. Joshua Stein, I think it is. His name says. Thanks for asking us. It's always nice. If anyone has any other questions, let us know. Leave it either in the comments here or on Facebook. You can, which brings me to, why not go and like our Facebook page
And subscribe while you're here.
and subscribe to your YouTube channel, or go to GearTube, even better, and do it all there. GearTube, which is basically like YouTube without all the boring non-gear related stuff. No kittens on pianos here, folks. It's all gear stuff.
Right.
Make sure to subscribe. The more people subscribe, the more people like us on Facebook, the more access we have to gear, the more kind of stuff we can do, community service like this kind of stuff we can do.
Communities.
Big thanks to the guy from Guitar Wank as well, Troy, Bruce and Scott, for the t-shirt. Yeah. And make sure to check out their podcast, Guitar Wank. Great podcast. Thanks, guys. And that's it for us, I think.
I think so.
Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.
See ya.
Bye.